I think we need to kick Mel and Noah off. This was a good episode.
RuPalp's Podrace Senior Edition.
No!
Start your sublight engines. It's time for RuPalp's Podrace, a queer Star Wars podcast. Welcome back to another week of chaos. I want to go ahead and start and say, sadly, we are short 2 hosts today. They did get chased down and caught by the Inquisitors. They're currently being interrogated, so they should be back soon. Fingers crossed. I don't think Noah or Mel are Jedi. At least if they were, I feel like they would have told us. Don't you guys agree?
I feel like we know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'd know. I tend to agree. So, but hopefully they should be back next week. Once the Inquisitors get that all straightened out. So, fingers crossed. I'm Ollie. I use any pronouns. You can find me on social media at OllieFresh. That's fresh with a PH. And my gender this week is Happy Pride to Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is canonically bisexual.
No.
To cut in half, because a stormtrooper did get cut in half.
It's kind of his signature move.
It is his signature move.
He's
small and now the
this
stormtrooper, Anakin's legs.
Bottom surgery from Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Once again.
I think that it's true. He's giving bottom and top surgery when you think about it, depending on what your perspective is.
Yes, we are recording this on the first day of Pride, so
boo! I hate gay people.
Quotes from Disney.
God.
I feel a lot like Disney when I say that. That's a joke, guys, in case you weren't aware.
No, Ollie's gay and homophobic.
Just like Tarkin.
Fuck you, Klaudia. No, I'm leaving the podcast. You can edit this week yourself.
No. Hi, my name is Klaudia. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on social media at Klaudia says, Kaludia says. My gender of the week this week, welcome to Spoiler Town, stop now, is Quinlan Vos, canonical love note writer.
That's pretty fruity.
I just have some sort of brainworms in my mind, because I was like, oh, he writes little love notes, so true. And I was like, okay, he wasn't writing a love note, but then I was like, the way Obi-Wan reacted to that's a little fruity, and I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, the way he was just like, Quinlan,
my beautiful little ex-boyfriend, who I listen.
One of my many ex-boyfriends.
Literally,
I believe in CodyWatch plus Quinlan rights.
Absolutely,
I
So
believe
true.
in that. And if you guys don't, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I wish you could play in the space with me if you don't believe that. But
I think he wrote a little message to Obi-Wan.
And we will definitely talk about Quinlan Vos today, because I have been. I have thoughts about that man.
I'm Jess. I'm back from Star Wars Celebration. I use they them pronouns. You can find me at Kawaii Jessio on social media. And my gender this week is, where in the world is Grand Inquisitor, aka Quizzy?
That's a great question.
Literally.
This can lead us into our discussion about the episode. So we are going to talk about episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi today. And something I want to talk about is the fact that Reva and Vader have this call, right? Where he's like, I know you want to be Grand Inquisitor, and if you follow my instructions and get that bitch Obi-Wan, you can be Grand Inquisitor. And he's like, well, okay, have fun, bye. I'm like, Quizzy is fine, guys. Like, Quizzy where is he?
I think, so basically she had her weekly 1-1 with her supervisor. Technically her supervisor, one might say that it's the Grand Inquisitor, but let's say that Vader is her supervisor. So that's her weekly 1-1. And the corporate politics are really bad there. So last week we talked about the Inquisitor's unlimited PTO, but So as we know, lightsabers, they cauterize wounds, and if it didn't hit any essential organs, Grand Quiznos, he could have survived, and
This
he could
is just like, oh my god, he watched our flag means death, and he was like, I could do that.
Exactly. He's having an our flag means death moment right now, and he's in Bacta and he's recovering, so he's on a long-term disability leave, and unfortunately in the Empire they do not have the ADA, so they are already trying to replace him while he is on his disability leave.
That's hateful.
Guys, that is I think something that will not happen, because once again, guys, I know people are like, oh my god, what if this is like where's Quizzy? Are we decanonizing Rebels? Rebels is not being decanonized, I promise. But what I think would be really funny is if the next episode does start with Fifth Brother and Reva talking shit to each other about who's gonna get promoted at Quizzy's funeral.
It's just like the Rako Hardeen arc, and you're like, I lived, bitch.
No,
I need that as like a meme edit now, or just like I lived, bitch, and it's Quizzy.
It's Quizzy and Rebels. Okay, this is another thing too that I want to talk a little bit about. First of all, Reva, girl, you are so sexy to me. I'm obsessed with you. But something else that I think is really interesting. First of all, fuck Fifth Brother, am I right? When she was she was like, I have a job to do, and he was like, I'm gonna use the Force on you. I'm like, bitch, you are Fifth Brother, and she is third sister. Like, does she not outrank you? Like, he's like, I'm next in line. I'm like, why are you next in line? You're fucking Fifth Brother. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it'd be like probably Reva first and then fourth sister. Yeah. Like, you're number 5, buddy. Unless there's 2 other people ahead of you.
Unless it's like he's the only man, is this like a sex-based, is this a gender-based thing?
This is my thing. In the Empire, number 1, we don't have the ADA, and number 2, we don't have things like Title IX, and like we don't have gender-based protections. So like, and we just don't have any like discrimination protections in the workplace at this point in the Empire. So that's why he can just like blatantly harass her in the fucking workplace, and like you should not be able to use the Force in a meeting against your colleagues to one up them. Like it's just like
correct.
Half of this episode was really just corporate politics, and if they had to do this over Zoom, it would be very funny, because I think Reva would just leave the Zoom.
I very much like the idea of the Inquisitor Zoom call, because here's the thing. Let me say, here's the thing. I think Quizzy is sending out the corporate link, right? Like he is the account holder. So he's like, okay, guys, we're having the meeting. So in this situation where Quizzy is now indisposed, Reva and Fifth Brother both send out a different link. And they're like, so both of them is set on a link. So Reva's like, okay, fuck, no one's in my meeting. So she joins Fifth Brother's meeting. And she's like, hey. And then he mutes her, because he's like, actually, I want to talk.
No, that's fucked up.
And then she leaves the meeting. And that's the plot of this week's episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That truly is, though, because he's like the one that's just like, oh yeah, I told Vader about like what you're doing, except I'm taking all the credit. And she was just like, fine, bitch, you can take the credit, but we all know who's actually gonna to come out on top in this situation.
Corporate HR really needs to come in, because the chain of command in that and literally in that thing, I was like, so there's no clear corporate chain of command then.
No, exactly.
Clearly. Vader, this is your fault actually for not having proper management of your fucking team.
Okay, also, this is completely separate, but I do want to talk about Vader a little bit, because we see that scene of him getting up, getting dressed, and getting all his shit worked out in the very beginning, right?
Wake up in the morning.
And here's my question. What it seems like he does, wakes up, does all that, and then goes and sits in his little chair all day.
Is that not what I do every day?
No, because that's the thing, is I was like, I said that, and I was watching the episode with Mel, and Mel was like, yeah, I think that's just what he does, but that's his job. That's what most people do. And I was like, oh my god, I've been reframing.
No, but like, I wake up, I get ready for my day, I am chronically ill, and then I sit down and I have a Zoom call, which is what he did.
It's yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta like get dressed. You just to help yourself feel a little bit more motivated, because you're like, well, I'm not actually going anywhere. I'll get dressed anyway, just to feel something.
I do have to say,
and I think that's Vader.
Yeah, exactly. I love whenever we see the castle on Mustafar, because I've read all the comics, but obviously we see it in Rogue One, and there's a shot in this episode that is literally just like a panel from one of the Vader comics that I used to have as my phone background for like a hot minute, like with the coloring of the sky and the castle and everything in it. And I was screaming, crying, and throwing up. If anybody, here's a little fun fact about the castle on Mustafar. Some Jedi temples are shaped like this as well. Like they go into a lot in I believe it's the Darth Vader 2015 run. One of the Vader comics, they go into like how it was built and why, and the kind of the troubles that they go through because it's over a Sith palette or an old Sith temple, and some of the artifacts they find there and the fucked up shit that happens. He works with this cursed object that was like cursed with this like very old Sith architect, and it's actually quite comical. It is very funny. I do recommend reading it. But the cool thing is that a lot of Sith temples and even Jedi temples, when they're shaped like that, they're shaped like a tuning fork. Because it's a tuning fork for the Force.
Tune the Force, right? Yeah.
For the Force, just like the song, just like Avar Kriss from the High Republic, guys.
Oh my
God.
God.
Brought it around.
No, but literally, like I was kind of like, yeah. So this is a cool and fun fact. Whenever you look at the castle on the castle in Mustafar, which is also featured in the Lego Terrifying Tales, which I think is it's far better. Just think about the tuning fork, because every time I'm like, it's Vader's tuning fork.
I did get so hyped about seeing the castle on Mustafar too.
No, yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, it's that bitch.
We see that and the we see that in the Inquisitorious.
Because what's so crazy to me is that going into this show, I was like, I'm excited, but I'm not like, I feel like a lot of these places like we've seen before, I'm not super excited to like I'm not going to be, like, crazy about seeing them again. And then I was like, oh my God, everybody's crazy. Like, I became, like, a bad person. I was like, oh my God, wait. Suddenly I do care quite a lot, which was shocking, but exciting. I feel like this episode of this show has suddenly made me be like, oh yeah, I do actually like this show. Which is shocking, but exciting.
Speaking of the Inquisitorious, like, their little base, I was just like, it's nice to see that it's okay again. I mean, I guess this is like 5 years after Fallen Order, so
okay.
Because anyone who's played Fallen Order, you know that like Cal Kestis and them did fuck up the Inquisitorious.
No, because
I'm so sorry, girly.
Because I am thinking like we only see, this is the first time we really see like the top levels of the Inquisitorious. Like in Fallen Order, it's like the basement and like underwater levels, and I think it's very funny that they had to move all of their meeting rooms up because they were like, our basement's still fucking flooded. Because of Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis, your vibes.
You know what? I'm just saying, if Cal and Seer were here, this wouldn't be happening. If they should have finished the job. They could have done it.
Bringing them up, because I hope at least people know about how the Fallen Order sequel like teaser did like get like shown finally. Jedi Survivor, and that is apparently taking place around the same time as this show. So now we can talk about Quizzy some more, because my theory now, because we did see like, you know, what is the race called? Like the
Pauan?
Yeah,
that's not Quizzy in the trailer though. It's been confirmed that it's not him.
Oh damn.
I know.
I was gonna be like, Quizzy, is that you?
I know, I wish. Quizzy, where are we gonna get a Quizzy?
Yeah, where's
with Quizzy? Maybe Quizzy can be like the new, like, he appears in every show. Like Quizzy and Saw Gerrera team up.
Yeah.
No, because here's the thing, Saw Gerrera is the new Hondo Ohnaka, because Hondo used to be the bitch who shows up in every show, and I don't know where he's been recently.
When is Hondo Ohnaka showing up in this day? I did think about him when Obi-Wan pulls his little hacha and kind of like and is like gotcha with his little move with a gun. I was like, oh. Hondo Ohnaka would be so proud of you.
I wish Hondo was here because he'd be like, Obi-Wan, you're a fucking idiot. That was a lot like my Loden voice.
Not Hondo and Loden being the same.
They're brothers from a different mother.
You have to stop. Okay, so I have a question for the Fallen Order girlies, because I have not finished Fallen Order, or rather finished watching Jess replay Fallen Order, so I just know
you gotta do the
plot things. But obviously, the plot of this episode introducing us to this like hidden path. They call it the path, right?
And I had a High Republic moment where I was just like,
oh my God. Marcion Rowe has entered the chat.
I was like, Oni? Yeah, how does this tie into Fallen Order? Because they end it with that they're gonna help the future of the Jedi children.
Yeah. So what they do at the end of Fallen Order, for those of you, this is a spoiler for Fallen Order, but one of the big plots in that game is that there's a holocron that has the names of a bunch of Force-sensitive children that was stolen from the Jedi Temple right before Order 66.
Which is much like the one episode of Rebels.
Exactly. So Cal Kestis and his squad, who's Seer Junda, who's a former Jedi, Grease, who's my bestie, Marin, who is a Night Sister, and that's their squad. So they are trying to find this holocron, and Seer really wants to help rebuild the Jedi Order. Then some stuff happens, and Cal destroys the holocron because he's like, no one should be able to find these kids in this environment, like the way that the Empire is. Like, we can't risk this falling into the wrong hands. So it ends with them being like, okay, we got to figure out what we're going to do, either rebuild the Jedi Order or protect these kids. Despite the fact that they now don't have a list of names. The idea of Cal Kestis being like, we need to start finding bitches to help us find Force-sensitive kids because the Inquisitors are also taking Force-sensitive kids, because that is another thing that they deal with in Fallen Order. Because Trilla, whose second sister, is like, I'm going to bring those kids to the Empire and they're going to become Inquisitors, Cal. So
she's an MLM girly.
She is.
And
the other girls are not doing it like her. But my thought is the idea of Quinlan Vos in the next Jedi game. In Jedi Survivor, Quinlan Vos and Cal Kestis working together. I don't know how likely it's going to be, but the idea of them being like
scream crying.
No, because here's the thing. They're like the handshaking meme, and it's just like two bitches with psychometry who survived Order 66.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh. And also, like, as a mentor figure for Cal. Oh,
yes.
I just made myself sad.
No, okay, because also I think it would be funny if he and Seer have beef. Like,
well,
he just shows up and she's like, yeah, that bitch used to butt me in line when I was going, like, at the temple all the fucking time. I hate him.
Wait, also, they're two bitches who both have psychometry or survived Order 66 and love a Night Sister.
So true. And you've never, no, because her being like, Marin being like, oh my god, Ventress? I've definitely heard of her. That bitch was crazy. I love her. What happened to her?
And he's like,
and Quinlan's like,
Quinlan has to be like,
He's like, so bad news. No,
but also the mention of Quinlan in this episode, I was like, okay, so where's my Ventress mention?
So let's go back a little. So the thing we see in this episode too is Leia slaying. So towards the beginning of the episode, we get Obi-Wan and Leia having this little dialogue of her being like, bitch, we need help. Like, and we are going to get help, okay? Obi-Wan is flopping severely because someone will ask him literally any question and he's like, I'm not a Jedi.
He's like, I'm definitely not one.
Yeah, and Leia's like, are you
neurodivergent?
No, like he is
Leia's just like, are you fucking stupid? Have you never like hacked it in your entire life?
I fear that Obi-Wan has stopped masking for so long that he has forgotten how to mask. So now he's like, oh fuck, I don't know how to act now.
The metaphor for Force sensitivity being like neurodivergence it's really getting even more because he has been masking his Force sensitivity. Truly, it's quite on the nose here.
Yeah.
But also, they are, speaking of locations, we talked about the Inquisitorius, we talked about the castle in Mustafar. The planet that they land on apparently is a planet from Legends. And then another planet that they keep mentioning that the path ends in is another planet from Legends that apparently has some significance because there is a Legends comic in the Clone Wars where Obi-Wan thinks that he has lost Anakin in a very bad battle. What is that planet called again? Ephraim something? Quite the choice if they do end up going there. I love when they bring things from Legends but like with purpose. I think that's really awesome, very slay. But the most interesting part of being on this planet for me, other than Leia being like, why'd you bring me to the middle of a fucking field, was that this was a moment, and these are the moments in Star Wars that I love, where they took a moment to show us what the galaxy at large, how they feel about what's going on, how they feel about the Jedi, how they feel about the politically what's happening. We meet a guy who is not Yas and not Slay.
Freck, played by Zach Braff.
Star Wars' penchant for having random comedians play random characters in their TV shows. Oh, between random comedians and random bassists, I guess that's a thing now.
No, it is. Oh my god. No, you're right. It's like The Mandalorian next season. We need to be on the lookout. We're on bassist watch. Fuck CodyWatch. I'm on bassist watch.
No, take that back.
I'm sorry, Jess. I didn't mean that like that. I'm so sorry. No, Jess, please stop. No. Ah! Oh my god. Okay.
So anyway,
Jess is the new Quizzy.
I'm sorry, Jess. I'll never say that again. Please, just leave my family alone.
I just thought that scene was very cool because it was like, yeah, this is what conservatives in Star Wars are like.
No, I mean, really though, it's like I'm obsessed with seeing parts that are like, oh, what are normal people doing? Because I think we get a lot of the perspective of like average people who are like, yeah, the Empire does kind of suck ass. So like when like this is a thing. I'm thinking about Fallen Order, but in the beginning of Fallen Order, there's a character named Prof, and he is so slay. But Cal
He's
basically
very slay.
Cal got away from the Jedi, right? And he's been working as a miner on this planet called Bracca. And
he's
he
like Dolly
has
Parton.
this-
He's been working 9 to 5.
basically. But he has been having this job, and he works with Prof, who is like his coworker, and Prof is like, something comes up and someone brings up the Jedi, and Cal's like, oh, we don't need to talk about it. Please, I don't want to talk about it. Prof does not know Cal is a Jedi, but Prof is like, yeah, well, I can't imagine the Jedi were all bad. Like, it seems like kind of crazy what happened to them. And I feel like we see a lot of characters like that who are like, I was really close to the Clone Wars, so it's like, it seems kind of weird that they're saying they're all traitors, but, I don't know. So it's kind of nice to see a character who was like, I was not close to the Clone Wars. I don't really have any vested interest in the Jedi. Okay, the Empire's here now? All right, cool. So it's like, it's interesting to see like what the ethos is. And I think this show, combined with like the besties on Tatooine and this guy, it's giving us a really interesting insight.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one strength of some of the books and comics when they do this as well, is where they kind of give different perspectives. I'm reading the Alphabet Squadron trilogy right now, and when they give perspectives of like why someone joined the Empire, or why something else, and like there's different people who were affected by the Clone Wars differently, but there's also different people who, like in the Brotherhood novel, they're non-human, so they've been affected by xenophobia differently. They're affected by like how close they are to the core, how many non-humans they are, how close they were to the Clone Wars, that kind of thing. Like, to me, I find that shit very interesting. I think politics is neat. And it was just interesting to see someone here who like, he was flying the equivalent of the Confederate flag.
I mean,
oh,
He was.
to be fair,
I'm honestly, yeah.
Listen, okay, I'm going to say something. He was basically flying the American flag.
Yeah,
just one of
actually.
those big trucks that you see with
like,
a
yeah,
full-size American flag.
That's exactly like
Yeah.
a truck that's like the American flag is like in your way, and you're driving and you're like, I can't merge because I can't see around this big fucking flag you have on the back of your fucking the back of your fucking
your stupid
Ford-
little pickup truck.
Ford truck, bitch. Oh,
I
you drive
do-
a Ford, you gay bitch.
I do fear that this episode was in Texas.
Oh my god.
It was Obi-Wan and Vader rematch in Texas.
Obi-Wan and Vader rematch in the freaking abandoned lot in the middle of Texas.
They're at a Cracker Barrel parking lot.
Speaking of Obi-Wan and Vader, this is specifically Obi-Wan and Anakin. Another thing we get in this is Obi-Wan and Leia's like, okay, bitch, we've been walking for so long. Is anyone gonna, someone is gonna show up and you're just being a bitch? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he looks out and he sees this dude standing, like, all the way far away. And he's like, hey, who's that? And he turns around and it's Anakin. And he's like, oh, and Leia's like, are you good, fam? Because
Yeah,
we gotta
Leia's
go.
just like, what the
He is having
what the
some
hell are you
forced
staring
ass
at?
visions.
She's like, Grandpa's off his meds. Like, we need to figure out what is going on.
Not Grandpa's
do-
off his meds.
It's war with Grandpa all over again, except it's with Leia and Obi-Wan.
War with
Please.
Grandpa's mind.
But no, I loved Leia like being like, okay, freaking, because Obi-Wan and her are having their little conversation where he's like, if anyone asks, like, we're farmers, you're my daughter, you don't talk, okay? Which one, that doesn't make sense then, Obi-Wan. How's she gonna freaking respond if she doesn't talk? And then they actually run into the like stormtroopers when they meet Freck, and Freck's picking up some stormtroopers. And they're like asking them questions, and Leia has to be the one that responds because she's just like, oh yeah, this is my father. He doesn't talk much.
No, she was so I mean, it was,
She
again,
is iconic.
it was very much like when you go to the restaurant and your parents are like, you're all under 10. Do not speak.
Yeah, like, you are getting a kid's menu, okay? And you're like, I'm 16. And it's like, no, you're not.
You're 9.
You're 9.
Like,
Oh,
it's also, Obi-Wan, you are fucking struggling. When he calls her Leia, I was like, my guy, you survived undercover in the Clone Wars, and
I'm
like kicking your ass.
Rako Hardeen would never do this.
I know. Just that whole like sequence when Obi-Wan calls her Leia, and they're like, oh, I thought you said her name was Luma. Who's Leia? And Obi-Wan freezing like a deer in headlights, like, oh shit, I fucked up. And Leia also looking at him like, Grandpa, what the fuck?
Okay, this whole scene made me like lose my marbles, because Leia being like, and he's like, oh, that was her mother's name. I look at her and I see her mother, and like that genuine, Ewan McGregor really put his whole pussy into that.
No,
that was like,
literally.
it was that whole scene. And then when they are finally like, okay, whatever the fuck, goodbye, and he's talking to her and she's like, you knew my mother. Are you my father? And he's like, fuck no. I wish I could say that your father was me, but I wish I had a daughter as slay as you, but unfortunately, I do not.
I only have a secret little son that I don't know about.
I fear I might not know about him.
That scene was like so touching to me though, where she's just like, you knew my mom, and it's just like, oh, yeah, bestie, I did. I also like fear with that scene that like people might misconstrue things are happening, and like try to like push the, oh yeah, Obi-Wan Padme agenda. Is just like, no, our besties, Obi-Wan and Padme were only platonic.
And they were besties.
Yeah, well, and I believe, and that was very much the energy of him being like, oh no, I'm your sly uncle. Like, but also that in that scene, also there was the last episode, everyone was like, was he talking about Satine or Ahsoka? And it was like, clearly he was talking about Padme, because he looked her in the face and said, oh, you remind me of someone who was a friend of mine and whatever. And then in this episode, she's like, I've connected the dots. You knew my mother. Because he's like, oh, sometimes she reminds me of your mother. And I'm like, yeah, so if anybody who thought it was Satine or Ahsoka last time, it's not. They made it crystal clear this episode. He is talking about Padme and always has been, because he keeps looking at Leia in the face.
This is something that we on RuPaul's Podrace have definitely talked about in the past, is like, what is Padme's legacy? And it sucks because a lot of the stuff that happens like immediately after Padme's death, we don't get a lot of content from people who knew her like during this time period. So it's really, really nice to see that the show that does take place after Revenge of the Sith with someone who did know Padme very well is honoring her, and is him being like, Padme was my friend, and seeing her daughter is so much like her.
Yeah, he's talking about Padme just as much as he talks about Anakin. And I'm like, Deborah Cho, I have never trusted a bitch more in my life.
Literally. Speaking about bitches that I've never trusted more in my life, I'm going to get to someone, but I have one last note about Leia, is that, did you guys see her hairstyle? She had it up in those little buns, but also one of the braids fell down like a Padawan braid.
Oh, no! I didn't see that!
I saw that, yeah!
No!
One of her little braids like had fallen down and it looked like a Padawan braid, and I was like screaming, crying, throwing up because I was like, oh my god.
Well, speaking of which, they have that conversation when they had that conversation about the Force earlier. I threw myself into the ether, because a really cool part of the High Republic is that they talk about how the Force feels, and so for Obi-Wan to describe how the Force feels to him, I was like, oh, it's so cool.
No, also, here's the other thing. He sees it the exact same way that Stellan Gios does.
Yeah, he does.
You know, literally, I was watching it with Mel, and he said it, and both of us were like, oh, like at the same time. It was crazy.
Ollie, would you like to describe how Stellan Gios sees the Force for the people who have not read the High Republic yet?
Sure. Basically, if you watch the episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's how Stellan Gios sees the Force. No, Stellan has said like he sees the Force as a constellation of like interconnecting stars. And that is when Obi-Wan was describing how he sees it, and he's like, oh, it's like a light in the dark. It's like points of light in the dark that connect. I was like, oh, I'm gonna scream.
I became the worst.
I've said this before, I'll say it again. Oh, Stellan Gios stan Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I do have two things I want to say. I said earlier, bitches that I trust with my life. Tala, you are my fucking best friend. I am obsessed with her. I was like crying. I love Indira Varma so much. I was not at all expecting her to play like a turncoat. And I'm so thrilled. We finally get to see women of color winning.
I was
so happy about that too.
Callus wishes he was her.
Like when she first showed up, I was like, no, not another Imperial. And then like her shooting the stormtroopers, I was like, wait, she's like a rebel spy. She's helping people. I was like, yes,
she walked so Cassian could run. She walked so Cassian could run. I fear we will have to watch her die on screen, and I am.
That's what my friend kept saying when we were watching. He's just like, she's given her whole backstory Ussy to Obi-Wan and Leia, and now
backstory Ussy.
Yeah,
Backstory.
Yeah, backstory. She gave it all to like Obi-Wan and Leia, and they're like, that's never a good sign when like you're meeting and then you're divulging your whole backstory to everyone. That means you don't got long, bestie.
Yeah. Okay. So
I really would like to see a woman of color stay alive by the end of this show. That is my goal.
Please, God. Well, okay, there's two things that we have to discuss because we are skipping around.
I have one thing about what happens in her little house. Just because we were talking about the High Republic, this is something I want your guys' live reactions. TikTok user at Gingers or Plants did look at the Orabesh that was written on the walls. It does say light and life.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes! Yeah. High Republic stands, we're winning!
Oh my god.
I just wanted to let you guys know, live reaction, there is, while Tala is telling Obi-Wan and Leia about how she has been smuggling Force-sensitive children off-planet via the path, there is Orabesh on the wall that says light and life.
The way I just started crying!
Orabesh that people say was on the wall, I told Klaudia and Ollie this earlier, but for you listeners, people said there's other Legends Jedi names on the walls, so good for you, Legends people, and good for the High Republic.
We're getting winning.
Our crumbs, besties.
Listen, Legends stands and High Republic stands need to unite. I think we can work together. Listen, I'm just saying, why wasn't Cohmac Vitus an heir to the Empire?
Yeah,
he wouldn't be Thrawn.
Listen.
Would Cohmac Vitus have beaten Mara Jade? Discuss.
I don't want to see two girl bosses pitted against each other.
What is there to discuss? They'd be besties.
Here's my thing though. If we're talking about either people who are smuggling Jedi or Jedi themselves referencing the High Republic as like a time of hope, that makes me feel crazy because in the current Star Wars 2020. Obviously, it is being written by some of the High Republic authors now, so now they're doing a lot of High Republic connections. And one thing that they have been doing is there is a rebellion mission that they call Starlight Squad. I believe it's called Starlight Squadron after Starlight Beacon, and it's just a cool idea of mine.
I'm sorry, that feels kind of like being like, this is the Titanic Squadron.
But I mean, even so, it's just cool to me. It's just cool to me that like now we've seen like several little things of like, oh, like people have thought of this as a time of hope or whatever, and not just people who were Jedi. I don't know, it makes me feel fucking crazy. So also this makes me really excited because these shows are being developed like at the beginning of either when the High Republic was either being developed or coming out. But it does make me excited because now some of the shows that are being made right now that the High Republic Phase 1 has come out, we are more likely to see more actual little High Republic Easter eggs in there. And that makes me feel crazy bonkers and insane. Can we talk about how Obi-Wan might have had a brother?
The way that I did have a Klaudia moment when I was watching this episode, because he was like, I had a brother, maybe, only flashes. I was like, this is just like Borica from Thrawn. This is just like Thrawn. I'm like, I feel just like Klaudia now, because I'm like, oh my god, literally anything that's happening is just like Thrawn, but I'm like, oh, this is actually just like Thrawn.
Obi-Wan and Thrawn.
I think we all had one of those little moments.
No, it's because it's Obi-Wan and Borica parallels. It's not Thrawn.
But also, Borica was also like, she was also had a home for she also had a home for force sensitive kids.
Wait,
the connections.
Cheery Luke.
Oh my god.
Or Cheery Leia. Honestly, either of those.
Yeah.
Luke and Leia are cheery coded.
They are.
Absolutely.
You're
they both
so
would drink
right.
a juice pouch.
And you know what? That would make. I think that's it's giving Tala a bit of a Thalius kind of vibe.
No. Tala's Thalius.
Tala with the Glock.
Tala with the Glock.
She did have a Glock.
We have a problem in our brain. We have a real issue in our brain. I don't know. I mean, you can tell by the way that we're talking about this, but like this episode was just like, it was just like no notes, like oops, all bangers.
It was like fun to watch.
It's also one of those things that, I mean, I talk about this a lot of like when a franchise or anything set in an established universe actually like digs itself in both with tiny details and also thematically, like how nice that is. Like for example, we can find all these ties or whatever, whether you're like a deep fan or you're not, because like, okay, like across a bunch of Star Wars media, like it is an overarching theme of protecting force sensitive kids. This is thing, like that's going to be Ahsoka's story, that's been her story for a while, and that's been that's the end of Fallen Order. That's clearly what's happening here, both adult force sensitive and now they say like, and now also kids, like, and obviously we were comparing it to Thrawn as well. Like this is like, there's like these overarching things that they're like, we're gonna, instead of like inventing new bullshit, we're gonna like dig into what we already have and create good bullshit from that. And I was just like, oh, I don't know what good storytelling is in Star Wars. I might be passing away.
Yeah, I'm like, it's really nice to see too, like, you can tell that Deborah Cho has a unique perspective, and you can also tell that she really likes Star Wars, and it's really showing. And I think we got the first 2 episodes that I really liked them, and I really liked the aesthetic of them, but I think they were a lot of setup. But now that we're really getting into the meat, you can tell she has a very distinct directorial style that pays homage to Star Wars. And we see that especially in the scene at the mining facility with Obi-Wan and Vader.
Yeah.
Like, the direction in that scene was fucking crazy. Like, I don't tend to be someone who gets super into, like, oh, I don't tend to feel a lot of the tension that characters are feeling on the screen for some reason. But in that moment, I was like, oh, I'm like, this entire episode, like, once Vader kind of showed up, I was like, oh, I'm not really going to be feeling all that much. I was like, the entire episode, I was like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. Like, this is so fucked up.
Well, and that was one of the reasons why I loved Rogue One also, was like, I had never seen Vader on the big screen myself. I grew up with the prequels coming out, and I saw them on home video because I was a kid, and my parents didn't like Star Wars, didn't bring me to the theater or whatever. The first time I actually saw Vader on the screen was Rogue One, and I was like, oh, he's fucking scary. And this was the same thing. I was like, this bitch is scary. And also, like, there's also a piece to Vader when he is first introduced in A New Hope. There's also a bit of camp to him because, like, he kind of moves around kind of awkward. and makes like awkward little movements even though he's also scary. So like there's this weird juxtaposition to him, and they catch that perfectly. And they also, and maybe this is because I've been thinking about Fallen Order or whatever, but like there was a lot of like shots and angles here that like they felt almost very video gamey. Like I felt like I was playing as Obi-Wan or watching Obi-Wan. And then when I got jump scared by Vader, it was like the camera turned around and I'm being jump scared by Vader, like in a video game. Like I don't know why it felt like that. Maybe someone who knows more about film can explain that to me. But it felt very much like that, and I thought it was very, very slay.
Yeah, and something I noticed, like a lot of the cuts were just really interesting. But yeah.
Speaking of Vader being really scary, freaking when he like first shows up and then starts just like dragging people out of their freaking homes with the Force and like killing them just because he's like, okay, I know you're out there, Obi-Wan. Let's drag you out by killing everyone in sight so that you will feel compelled to come out.
It was fucked.
It's just like, oh, that's fucked up. Anakin, you're off the shits for this.
Well,
No,
also,
literally.
if you think about it, this is the first time Obi-Wan has seen Anakin as Vader commit the atrocities that he is known for.
Like in person at least, because he saw the youngling video.
He saw him kill younglings on FaceTime, but like
He was like, Anakin, stop. Oh no, he can't hear me. His connection's bad.
yeah, he's watching him kill younglings on body cam footage, but now he's seeing it like for real in front of him, and he just found out that Anakin is alive. Like I felt that palpably, like being like, I thought this man died at my own hand. He didn't. He's become this monster because of me. It's not because of him, but I'm sure he feels that way. And now he is killing people in front of me.
Vader literally like tells them, because when Obi-Wan's just like, what have you become? And he's just like, I became what you made me.
Dude, that fucked me up. I was like, genuinely, again, I am not someone who gets super like misty during stuff. Like I'll be like, hee hee. But I was like, oh, I am like unwell. Like this is fucked. This is so deeply upsetting. It's ridiculous.
I was also laughing because my favorite things, Anakin and Vader, is not one of my favorite characters, but he does have some of my favorite moments in all of Star Wars, like don't choke on your aspirations, director. And just Anakin being very dramatic and being very on the nose is funny to me. And so him being like, yeah, of course I'm gonna set you on fire like you did me because I'm
that's just Anakin
bitch.
Being a petty bitch. He's like,
no.
Time for your turn.
I was like, damn, that's really on the nose, my guy.
No, literally. And that's like the people who are like, oh my God, but like I was talking to Noah about this, unfortunately, the person who is, because he's not here to talk because he's being interrogated by the Inquisitors. But Noah was saying like something that's funny is people who are like, why didn't he just like grab Obi-Wan like with the Force, or why didn't he just like get him or like kill him there? And it's like, well, clearly he doesn't want Obi-Wan dead. He wants to torture him.
Bitch.
Exactly. Like he wants to make a fucking statement with Obi-Wan. So it's like the people who are like, oh, well, look, why did he let Obi-Wan get away? It's like, well, because he let him get away. Like clearly Vader could have stopped it. He was watching that whole time just like, all right, bitch, you win this round. I'm going to fuck you up so bad next time I see you though.
When I was watching this with my friends last night, we were having the same kind of discussion because the two of them were like, what the fuck was that? Why did he just let Obi-Wan get away? Like Vader could have like definitely like just destroyed Obi-Wan. And the way I was seeing it was like, yeah, he purposely is letting Obi-Wan go because then, he gets to fuck with Obi-Wan more, like the dramatic petty bitch he is. And then it's also like how I saw it was like, it's like when a predator is like purposely playing with their prey just for the fun of it and being like, oh yeah, I'm going to like to fuck you up little by little.
Mm-hmm.
So one, I was like, oh, this is a cool fun fact, but then I was like, oh wait, Mustafar is a mining planet, and then they were on a mining planet for this scene as well. And I was like, oh, that's just funny, whatever. But then I thought about it and I was like, oh, but in this mining planet, it's like ashen everywhere. It's like not burnt up, but like it's the opposite of like rivers of lava. It's like passion and like rivers of rock, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, it's like poetry, it rhymes, love.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now that after he's been burnt to a fucking crisp. The other thing that I loved was like, a lot of people were predicting like, oh, the first time that Obi-Wan like kind of goes full Jedi mode and he pulls out his lightsaber or whatever, it's gonna be like a big moment. And it wasn't a big moment. It was him running for his fucking life from Vader, which was funny as shit. Being like, POV, your younger brother is coming to kill you.
No, he's like Obi-Wan, you lost the remote. Rest before you left. Fuck you. No, that was something that I noticed though, that I was like, I was like really excited about. Like, this is where I was like, Deborah, your mind, you're unmatched. Is because Obi-Wan was standing there when Vader first ignited his lightsaber. I thought Obi-Wan was going to ignite his and have it be like a parallel to Revenge of the Sith when they have their Mustafar confrontation. But no, he just fucking run away Cohmac Vitus ass. But then then the scene where he does finally ignite his lightsaber is when he's just like, he's fucking running and he turns around and he's like, oh, fuck. It's like, it's so good. It shows how much Obi-Wan has changed and how much he's been through when we haven't been with him. And I'm like, I'm obsessed with it. I love that.
Yeah, it's also an interesting juxtaposition with when Ahsoka sees Vader for the first time, because she's been practicing. And she goes through a period of time just like Obi-Wan, where she hides in the Force and she's wallowing and she's like, I'm never gonna pick it up again. It takes a lot for her to pick up her lightsabers again, and she doesn't really call herself a Jedi, but like whatever. But when she sees Vader again, she's like, all right, let's throw hands, like whatever. Obi-Wan is like, not today. And Obi-Wan has not gone through therapy yet, and it was interesting to me. I also, when I was thinking about like, oh, when's the first time we're gonna see him with his lightsaber, I was like, oh, they're gonna play Obi-Wan's theme in a way, and I heard it. They did it this time, whatever, and I was like, I want to see what's the difference in how they played his theme now versus when they do it another time, because there have been purposeful parts of his theme that are supposed to be like, he's desperate. He's desperate and he's sad and kind of deal. So,
I hate to be this person because I can't stop bringing it up, but there is a part in Light of the Jedi where Avar Kriss is like, the best way to win an argument is to not have it.
And she's right for that.
That's
and
Obi-Wan
she's right, and
with this.
That's literally what Obi-Wan is doing. He says, I don't want to have this confrontation. I'm just going to run away. And I'm obsessed with that.
You're not being that person. I think having connections with the wider Jedi is a good thing.
Yeah.
Also, just as a side note, here we stand Moses Ingram and fuck all the haters. But like, the best way to have an argument is to not have it. If you see people saying bad takes online and about anything, but about Star Wars or whatever, don't engage with them. They're trying to bait you. They know that they're bad and they're racist and they're stupid, so don't engage with them. You should talk about how things are bad and call things out, but do not engage with shitty posts. Don't. They are trying to bait you, and I have seen so much bullshit. Anyway, in this house we stand, Riva. I support women's wrongs. I also do love how like Vader and Obi-Wan are having this whole fucking moment, and Riva's like, so anyway, time to go get my fucking promotion. She's like, they're like, we have a job to do, and she's like, fuck you, and she's like, I'm going to get my little fucking promotion. That was so slay of her. So slay.
It really was. Like, Fifth Brother was like, yeah, we're gonna go like deal with this. You stay out of our fucking way. And Ryu was just like, fine, okay. I will still come out on top. And she goes and finds the little secret room. That moment though, when she's in there and she's looking at the messages on the wall, and you see clearly that almost looks like she's gonna like cry, but then she quickly turns that into like feeling angry and like, more fuel for the dark side of the Force for her.
Like, where's her backstory?
I gotta say, that scene where she looks at the Jedi symbol and then just fucking punches a table and then is like, oh my god, there's a button back here. That was so slay. But also, like, I'm gonna say it really is, like, the scene that it reminded me of, and I'm apologize in advance, but the scene it reminded me a lot is in The Force Awakens when Kylo Ren is, like, pissed and he's like, he's fighting fit. He just, like, got hurt very bad because of Finn. And he's trying to stop hurting. Like, he's trying to channel the dark side. So he starts, punching himself.
Yeah.
He wishes he was Reva, because Reva was like, I'm just angry already. But it kind of reminded me of that, of where it's like, oh, the Force comes, like, the dark side of the Force comes from pain. Like, it comes from being upset. Like, that is the point. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, every time we get reminded, like, oh, the dark side's actually not, like, this fun, cool thing. Like, it's actively painful to use.
Yeah.
You have to channel pain.
And that's why Palpatine encourages the bad office politics, and he encourages whatever, because they gain their power from the discord of it. They gain their power from, you know, pitting them against each other. Like, also, side note, you were talking about The Force Awakens. There was another sequels parallel in here. I'm so sorry. I keep going back to that scene where Obi-Wan is talking to Leia about the Force, which, shout out to Deborah Cho acknowledging Force-sensitive Leia. My God, you are the only bitch I respect in this house. I hope you do every Star Wars from now on. I'm so sorry, Dave Filoni, but Deborah Cho, I love you. My God. They do the Finn and Han Solo, that's not how the Force works.
Oh, yes! I noticed that! But he's like, that's not how it works. I was like, so true. This is just like Han Solo. No, because this is my new AU. It's not my AU. This is my, like, deleted scene. Is where they're on the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope. Luke is off doing some bullshit, and Han walks up and he's like, so this is some bullshit, right? Or, oh, can you just, like, lift things up and do some bullshit? And he's like, that's not how the Force works. And Han's like, and I'm gonna remember that.
Literally.
No, or Leia's, like, later on in their lives together, he's like, oh, well, like, the Force is like this. And she's like, that's not how the Force works. And he's like, and I'm gonna remember that.
Literally. Also, we had an imperial defector in this episode.
Yes,
and it made me think of Finn, and I just was like, It made me think of Finn and how they implied that with Finn that, like, he's gonna try and help find other imperial defectors, whatever. And I was like, man, I love when it's like poetry.
I love when a Star War.
Shit.
Okay.
This is a thing that I said before, but that I like about this series so far is that it's like, oh, it's not just like, oh, we're like loving the prequels or love or whatever. I'm like, there's shit for all the bitches.
No, literally,
there was connections for all the bitches. The sequels,
the High Republic, the Legends.
There was something for the solo girlies.
The solo, yeah.
Literally, I agree completely. I think it's like, it's a really, like, yeah. It's just really interesting to see. Like, I'm just really enjoying this show.
Also, for the solo girlies, once again, we are discussing droid sentience. Once again. Also, that droid who was like, I'm killing you with my mind.
The droid was about ready to freaking hit someone with a freaking sledgehammer. Like,
droid is
Ned. His name is Ned.
Oh yeah, sorry.
And he's
I'm
my
so
best.
sorry.
I need
to put some respect to Ned.
Ned and Lola are my two new icons.
Yeah,
honestly.
those are the fruity little droids for this season.
Yeah,
for the show.
When will Ned get a boyfriend?
Literally. Also, Leia Organa, please, I need you to learn about stranger danger, please.
No, because
to be fair, you know, Tala did say, like, just go down, like, the tunnel and, like, you'll find the pilot. So, like,
okay,
the person she
ran
ran into,
pilot, she is wearing a cape.
She figured that out when she saw the knocked out guy on the floor, but then it was already too late.
To be fair, Reva did also say, yeah, the person you're supposed to meet is not gonna be here. Sorry, little guy. Okay, also, I am obsessed with the Cad Bane-ification of Reva, because Leia is going to pull an Omega and just like, yeah, just be like, hee hee. Oh my God, no! Because here's the thing: what if the Reva is like, oh, I've got this kid, because this is her first time actually spending time with Leia. What if she is like, oh my God, you have the Force, and realizes
that's why
it,
I'm scared.
and that's when she's like, oh, I've just realized. That's what we get Reva backstory. Is because she's like, oh my God, this is just like when I was trying to escape the temple with other younglings, and I can do it better this time.
When does Vader find out that he has another kid?
I don't know.
Because he mentions in Return of the Jedi, like, oh, your sister, or whatever. And we know that he finds out about Luke And then he's like, Palpatine lied to me. My kid is alive. He finds that out from Boba in the comics. When does he find out that he has another kid and that it is a daughter? Because listen, he has come close. He has come within feet of Leia once again, much like in A New Hope, and he does not sense that she is Force sensitive. What is the truth?
No, because
what is the fucking truth?
Yeah, it is a great question. I would love to know.
This episode was very Yass and Slay. The whole series so far, there's only been 3 episodes. We're halfway through this series, which is wild. So far, I come into this show with no expectations, so it's like, woo! We're having a grand old time. I didn't expect Quinlan mentioned at all. And I was like, damn, I hope my Quinlan besties out there are rejoicing. But I am very worried about Leia. I do, think that maybe Reva and Leia will have a nice little bonding moment. Or I hope that's where this is going, where they're like, she's like, damn, now I'm having my flashbacks, my traumatic flashbacks to escaping Order 66, except I didn't escape Order 66. I got taken in and turned into this hot mess.
It's gonna be like Ventress and Woba.
Don't talk about Boba Fett. We don't talk about Boba Fett. Damn, Star Wars really knows what everyone wants. They're like, damn, Mandalorian did really well. The Bad Batch, despite its whitewashing, did really well. So it seems like the fans do enjoy a dad and a child story moment.
Shit works.
So they're like, let's do it again. Come on, Obi-Wan. You're the dad this time. Leia, you're the child.
Uncle Core.
I'm just saying, when are they going to have a story that's a mom and a child, a mother figure and a
Yes.
child?
I think that's what Ahsoka is going to be.
Ahsoka and
who's the child, Jason?
Her 30-year-old daughter, Sabine Wren.
No, it's going to be Jason Syndulla.
I forgot. The possibility of him being in that show.
I'm so scared of seeing that little... I'm so scared of seeing that little bitch in live action.
My fear is that... my only thing is he'd be so young. He'd be like 6. I'm like, or 7?
He'd be
a little Oompa Loompa looking motherfucker.
No, leave him alone.
You look at Jason Syndulla from Rebels and tell me he does not look like an Oompa Loompa. Quickly.
Okay, but like Yoda also looks like an Oompa Loompa in Rebels. Like,
no,
some
Yoda
of the Rebels
looks like a scary little
like
green old man.
Leave him alone.
And you know what? So true. You know what? You know what though? Yoda is Slay. And I'm sorry to say it, but I don't care what he looks like. I agree with you.
I'm a Yoda stan.
No, I don't care.
Yeah.
I think Rebels Yoda is Slay. I think he's funny.
Okay, all right.
I enjoyed it very much. I don't know if my friends actually listen to our podcast, like my 2 friends who watch this. Maybe I'll make them listen to this, but you 2 were dumb. I thought the Vader and Obi-Wan fight was really good. I think Obi-Wan is just having a tough time. Of course, the fight wasn't going to be like bam bam, like super like action. Obi-Wan is going through a tough time. He's struggling fighting, okay? That's just realistic. If you hadn't fought in like 10 years, wouldn't you also struggle?
I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't, because I'm perfect.
Obviously.
So true, Ollie.
Well, this is also the reason why when they were like, there's gonna be a Vader Obi-Wan rematch, I was like, it's either not gonna happen or it's not gonna be what you guys think it is, and then you're gonna be fucking toxic on main. So I know the fandom menace girlies, they are not loving it right now, and to that I say, go fuck yourself. I'm having a great time, and Deborah Cho, you are my best friend.
As the person who's like, out of all the main Star Wars movies, not including Rogue One and Solo, but like the main Skywalker like saga movies, The Last Jedi is my favorite, and it's because the Luke in that, I just found him very relatable, and Obi-Wan in this is making me be like, you know what? Yeah, I really do love Obi-Wan Kenobi, especially now that I've seen him being a depressed little guy. Because that's relatable. I fail something, and then I too have to go into exile and not talk to anyone and hang out in a cave for a while and be depressed.
Again, it's like these thematic connections, even to the sequels, are they're really nice. Like parallels between Luke uh and Obi-Wan in this moment. Like, oh man, thinking about it makes me really sad. Fuck.
Hi, welcome back to CodyWatch. It's been a while.
Let's go!
Let's go, Cody Watch.
Cody
First,
Watch!
the
Woo!
update from Star Wars Celebration. As you all know, if you listened to last week's episode, I was at Star Wars Celebration, at least on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, I did get into the Bad Batch panel, like the actual like live panel. And that was the best moment of my life is because the trailer that they showed us at Celebration was longer, and it did explicitly like name drop Cody, because you hear a normal clone be like Crosshair, and you're like, wait, who is this? And Crosshair is just like Commander Cody in his fucked up little Crosshair voice. And the joy and like euphoria I felt at that moment, where I was just like, yes, I'm vindicated. I knew my manifestations would pay off. But yeah, that's for the Bad Batch. Talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi now. The clown nose is coming back on, besties, because so far Cody has not been here. We got Tem, come on, like he was there, we could do it again. Like, why would you just bring Tem on to be one random little guy on the side of the road? Okay. Tem has the range. Tem said at Celebration that he'd love to talk more about like Cody again, because I guess people talk to Tem about Rex. Like, I know the clones are all supposed to be like, well, clones of Django, who was Tamora Morrison, but you know, it's not like Tamora Morrison has ever played Rex, which is sad. But he did play Cody, so he's just like, yeah, I'd love to talk more about Cody. I like Cody.
I think it's very funny, because I would just like to see Cody. I also like CodyWatch. Is that people are like, oh my god, Jess, like CodyWatch is over now because he showed up in the Bad Batch trailer. No, CodyWatch is not. CodyWatch is not like, oh, now we found him. It's like, no, CodyWatch exists for every piece of Star Wars media. Like, it's like the next
High Republic Phase 2. Where's Cody?
Andor,
where's Cody? Even if I see Cody die in the Bad Batch, I'm still gonna be like, where's Cody?
No, in the
he should at least
next
be
season. Next season of The Mandalorian, where's Cody?
No,
yeah
absolutely. Like, until we know Cody's entire timeline, where's Cody?
Even when we do,
I'm still gonna be like, where's that bitch, huh? Where's the mention?
I have to say, I mean, the day that Ollie and I, we were not at Celebration, but we were like on our phones, like whatever, and when they
live tweeting at work,
the Ahsoka panel was coming out, like I was like shaking, whatever. The next day the Bad Batch panel was coming out, somebody was sitting there, like they had their microphone on, and they were like, I was in a Twitter space, so I was hearing the panel and the trailer happen. And I heard them say Commander Cody, and I start refreshing Twitter, and I start texting Jess. I'm like, somebody check on Jess. Somebody check on. I think
thank
Jess
you
might have
to
just
all
gone
like
into cardiac arrest.
Thank you to like the tons of people who immediately started like adding me on Twitter or messaging me or texting me. Some of you came onto my TikTok immediately being like, oh gosh, I gotta go check Jess's TikTok for the CodyWatch update. Because yeah, I was not well. Started screaming, crying, wanted to throw up. I didn't even know what happened the rest of the trailer, because I was just like, what the fuck, Cody? And then luckily they played it again, because I was just like, holy shit, I can't believe this is real life. And I really do hope he appears in this show, because, like I said, Tem said he'd be down for more Cody, and I think we should respect his wishes and let Tamora Morrison be Cody again.
So I want to let all of our listeners know, Mel and Noah are still being interrogated by the Inquisitors, so we haven't heard from them yet. But that being said, we are going to play a game that longtime fans will know. It is called Kriff, Naboo, Honeymoon, Decapitate, where each of us is going to bring 3 characters, and the other hosts have to say who would they kriff, who would they go on a Naboo honeymoon with, and who would they decapitate.
It's basically fuck, marry, kill, but like our fun little Star Wars version.
Teehee. Okay, I'm going to go first. I have brought 3 very cool women Baru, White Sun, Lars,
Slay.
I knew.
Tala, and Brea Organa.
Interesting.
That's kind of hard because they're all very good.
Yeah, that is because here's the thing. Usually when I bring one, I know what my answer is, and as I was saying that, I was like, oh, I really don't know what I'm gonna do.
Damn. See, the problem is I need to know more about Tala. You know?
Well, you gotta work with what you got to give your
Okay.
answer.
All right. I'm going to shoot from the hip.
Okay.
I am going to Naboo honeymoon Brea Organa because then I get to be in a polycule with Bail Organa as well. So I win. Do I die on Alderaan? Maybe. You know what? I got out in time.
Oh, okay.
The polycule broke up actually before.
No, you're a lot. No,
Just
Klaudia,
divorce.
Klaudia, you're just like Obi-Wan. So is this next person like your rebound?
Yeah, is the rebound the kriff?
Okay, so I'm gonna kriff Tala because I just think she's neat. And I think she's Yas and Slay, but I think she's really busy, so she can't really, commit to a long-term relationship. Unfortunately, I will be decapitating Baru. That's only just because of process of elimination, and also I don't want to live on a desert planet. So sorry, but it's really hard because she is a girl boss, and yeah, I'm really sorry, Baru. But yeah, that's my choice.
Okay, so I will also Naboo honeymoon Brea Organa. Not to enter the polycule. I'm sorry. I think Bail is very Yas and Slay, but I unfortunately am being a homewrecker, and I'm just gonna take Brea. Sorry, Bail. Leia and Brea could come with me. I'm the new parent. In this scenario, I also have somehow gotten off Alderaan before that happens. It's very sad. I'm like, oh no, my loving wife Brea is now passed away. Or actually, I guess I don't have to be a homewrecker. It could still be like a V-shaped polycule where Bail and I are connected to Brea, but we're not in any relationship. But after this, my kriff is actually the opposite of Klaudia, where I kriff Baru. Because I think she's very, not that I don't think Tala is Yas and Slay. We just, we've known Baru a bit longer. And I think, no like strings attached with her and I. We have a nice time. But I also am just like, I don't want to stay here on Tatooine. Like, no offense, but this place sucks. Not to be like Anakin Skywalker, Padme's husband, as you all know him as. But I hate sand. It gets everywhere and it sucks. And so unfortunately I do have to decapitate Tala, and I'm sorry to the girl boss. Like, I know she's like helping with a really awesome cause of like helping younglings and other force sensitives like get away from the Empire, but like I'm no girly. I don't know you that well, so
my answer is challenging. I don't know why I did this to myself. Here's the thing. As you know, if you're into the lore, the Ollie Fresh lore, I have to marry Baru. I don't care if it means I have to stay on Tatooine. I'd do it for her.
Okay, all right.
But here's the thing. It's really hard because I also do want to marry Tala very bad, because what would be fun is imagine going on her adventures with her to save the children. And then maybe I'd get to like run into my bestie Quinlan Voss. That's fun. But I just don't know her well enough at this point. So I'm like, but like that could change. But I think that I'm going to marry Baru. But I am obsessed with Tala. So I am going to kriff her. I'm so sorry to Brea Organa.
No!
I'm so sorry. I like, it's not because I don't want to. It's just because I've given myself a horrible question, but I am going to have to decapitate you. I'm so sorry, Brea. I'm so sorry. I wish I didn't have to be this way.
Those who know me when we play this game know that I like to target people, and I like to make things difficult for people. Usually, I target Ollie, but today
Yeah.
I will be targeting Jess.
I'm going to kill you.
I'm so excited. I feel like I'm finally not the butt of the joke. Is this how it feels to be popular?
In honor of CodyWatch this week, and in honor of Jess meeting Tim at Celebration. The choices are Cody, Boba Fett, and
And who?
Who's the last one?
Okay. The choices are Cody, Boba Fett, and Thrawn.
That's a fun little. I feel like a fun little Easter egg. Like, and Thrawn.
Fucking Thrawn.
My favorite Django clone, Thrawn.
Okay, I can shoot for the hit, actually. Yeah, I know I never shut the fuck up about Cody, especially if you follow my Twitter. You just see me being like Commander Cody like every fucking day. But Cody's actually not my favorite Star Wars character. He's my third favorite Star Wars character, but he's not number one. Number one is Boba Fett.
It's number 2 Eli Vanto.
Yeah, number 2
Let's
is Eli
go!
Vanto. And number 4 is Vernestra Rowe. Let's go. We stand a girl boss. But so I am Naboo honeymooning Boba Fett. We now live together in Mos Espa on Tatooine. Unfortunately, I have not escaped Tatooine.
Oh my god, we can be neighbors while I'm married to Baru, you're married to Boba Fett. We can get brunch together.
Yeah.
Can't with that.
So I'm helping Boba rule with respect. And I kriff Cody because I do love Cody very much, but let's all face it, like Cody is actually in love with Obi-Wan Kenobi. They have a thing. I don't want to get in between Obi-Wan and Cody. Obi-Wan's going through a lot right now, so he needs Cody. But just a one-time thing between me and Cody is like fine. We're like
tryst.
Yeah, a little
a clandestine meeting.
What was the phrasing for for Krennic in Catalyst? Like his
nighttime escapades.
Yeah, whatever the fuck Krennic is doing, me and Cody. And unfortunately, I decapitate Thrawn. I'm sorry to Eli Vanto, but
he's a
I had no other choice. I had no other choice.
Well, I have another answer. So, okay. My answer I'm not happy with. But it is what it is. I don't think that I have another option. I love Tem. I love every clone. But I just don't think I could see myself getting there with one beyond with like that. He's like an uncle to me.
The crosshair stands are coming to beat you when you're
Crosshair is not. Crosshair doesn't count. I don't love him like I do.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm so sorry to the Bad Batch. They don't count when I say that I love all the clones. It ain't about them. I'm sorry. That is why I fear that there is something that I fear people think I really love Hunter from the Bad Batch. I like him. He's not even in my top 10 favorite characters. I'm sorry, guys. If I have been a fake Hunter fan, I like him. I think he's swag, but I'm sorry. I digress. Anyway. So, I hate to say it, but I'm marrying Thrawn. But here's the thing. I think it's not because I want to marry Thrawn. It's because I don't think I could. I just couldn't do it. I'm so sorry to the other guys. But here's the thing, though. I think I could fix him. I think I could do what Eli Vanto could.
Eli Vanto moment.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, Eli, calm down.
No, I think I could fix him. But here's the thing. Unfortunately, unlike Eli, I have never been a part of the military-industrial complex. And I know Eli went through there, there's more there. It's not black and white, but I think I could fix Thrawn. I would marry Boba. Or I'm sorry, I would kriff Boba. I think it'd be fun. I think I could do that. my problem is I feel like I very much like Boba, but I would more just want to like hang out. Like I don't think I would want to be married to him. I don't want to be tied. I don't want to be married to Thrawn either. Unfortunately, these all feel like bad options.
No.
But I am gonna decapitate Cody because, like Jess said, he is in a committed relationship. I also do believe he's gay. Like I don't feel. I feel like I'm just a bit too woman adjacent for him. And he would be like, I can't do this. And I'd be like, I'll just take us both out of our misery.
Not canonically
I'd tag
transphobic
Cody.
Cody.
No, I mean, I think we're MLM WLW hostility, I fear. Sorry, Cody.
I think he supports. I think he supports lesbians.
I believe he does,
absolutely.
but unfortunately, the problem is the prompt is that I have to kill one of them, and unfortunately, he is the only one.
He is friends with Ahsoka. He does support lesbians.
Yeah, I fear that it's, you know what? That's his fault for being a Django clone who is just so uncle-like to me. If he was less uncle-like, we could be in a different world. But unfortunately, I have to marry fucking Thrawn now. So thanks, Django.
You gotta marry. At least it's like canon Thrawn, not Peepaw Thrawn.
Yeah, if I had to marry Peepaw, if it was specifically Peepaw, this would be a different conversation.
Wait, I have to answer my own question?
Yeah, you
don't I?
have to answer.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Ah, shit. I didn't think this one through. Okay. I'm gonna marry Cody because then I get to be in the polycule with Satine and Obi-Wan. And also because I think I could save him from Order 66. I could be like, let's get that chip out of your head, bud. I will be kriffing Boba Fett because I do love him very much. But I also will be hooking up with his best friend Fennec Shand. So I'm just there. I'm just there to be making moves.
To be fair, they're in a relationship, so it's just a polycule.
Yeah. Once again, I get in the polycule.
Yeah.
I am leaving Thrawn to be decapitated because he is a war criminal and he chose to be a war criminal. Do I love him very much? Yes. But he has not done any of the work to redeem himself at this point. So
unfortunately, this is in a world before I could fix him.
Yeah. And I don't think I could fix him. Like, Eli Vanto is an icon in a moment, and Eli Vanto couldn't even fix him. I don't have the power Eli Vanto has, unfortunately. So, yeah, unfortunately, I do believe that is what is happening. I'm so sorry. Mine was far too straightforward.
Welcome to the Inquisitorious.
Bro.
No.
Today, I am presenting to you Grand Quizzy.
Okay.
Our beloved new girl boss, third sister, Riva. And you know the fifth brother that I'm forgetting.
Fifth brother.
Name.
That's what his name.
He doesn't have like a name that we know of. So fifth brother. There you go.
Okay, I have an answer. So
Quiznos, Riva, and
fifth brother.
So
okay, Sung Kang, who does play fifth brother, did post on Instagram. The only thing he's posted about Obi-Wan Kenobi was fifth brother's like character poster, and the caption was "Fifth brother needs some lotion."
Yeah, that was so funny.
And that's
not canonically ashy fifth brother.
He is. Are you kidding? And for that reason, I'm decapitating fifth brother.
Just put him out of his misery. No more ashiness.
I'm sorry. He scares the fuck out of me. Get away from me, freak. Anyway, I think fifth brother's very funny though.
Also, he's disrespectful to Riva, so
he is.
Can go.
No, he is not a feminist, and for that reason, he has to die. Quizzy, I think Quizzy and I fear that we could share a clandestine evening. I think we would kriff. Not necessarily because I want to, honestly because I'm curious. Like, I don't like, it's not out of a like, oh, I think he's hot or anything. I'm just like, what would that be like? Like, what is happening there? I just would like to know. And obviously I'm marrying Riva. She's a girl boss and she's fucked up and she's mean and I'm obsessed with that. And I think that if she was like, I think that Riva, if you got through her rough exterior, I think that she would like cuddles and long walks on the beach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think her being like, I'm fucking done with you people, and she wants to get to the top, is because she wants more PTO, because I think she is just like, she's trying to hustle her way to get to somewhere where she can have the downtime that she has not gotten to have since Order fucking 66. And for that, I
So
stand.
true.
I absolutely stand. You know what? I support women's wrongs. I'll shoot from the hip. So I do fear that I will be doing the same as Ollie. Um I will be Naboo honeymooning Riva. I don't know if she would be willing to Naboo honeymoon me, so it's kind of wishful thinking, honestly. I'd just be honored to be in her presence, to be honest.
Claudia, I love that you, and whenever we do this game, you are always like, I know my station in life. Like, you never experience wishful thinking. You're like, no, this is where I'm at, and I'm comfortable with that.
Unlike me, where just like, I know what I want.
Yeah,
Jess is like, I'm a home wrecker.
Meanwhile, Jess is like, I think I could pull literally anyone, and they're right.
They're correct.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
just saying, Claudia, I think Riva could I think Riva would be into you.
She's just, honestly, to be fair, I think she's also like, she's very into her career right now, and so like getting her to settle down would be like a real issue. Like, there would be
counterpoint. You know where Obi-Wan Kenobi lives.
That's true. Our love story, like, as many a person on Twitter would say, I would give him up in a heartbeat for her. Like, you know what?
So true.
I am licking boots, and they are hers.
Claudia entering her Freck era.
Claudia's like, maybe the military-industrial complex is okay.
If it's Riva, all right, I'll let it slide. Like, yeah, do I love Thrawn? Absolutely, but I'm not letting him slide. Riva? You know what? Girlie's got a point.
Listen, I know that she has a skincare routine. Thrawn cannot say the same.
Do I want to get with Grand and Quiznos? I think Rebels Grand and Quiznos I want to get with. Oh, I mean,
okay, no, I get that completely.
Okay.
I mean, is it okay? No, because it's really harmful for me, because I'm like, I could definitely see myself with an animated man as opposed to a human man. I'm like,
oh no,
I should have realized a lot of things a lot earlier. I think.
I think it's also like, he's just got a very luscious voice in the animated series. Does Quizzy have a sex life? I guess he does. I don't know.
I feel like I don't want to speculate too much, because obviously I don't want to speculate about, what Quizzy does. That's between him and his god. I fear though. I do fear though, if any of the Inquisitors are fucking, I fear it might be him, because I think
say Trilla.
No, that's the thing. It's not that I don't think Trilla could be. I just think that she's too busy.
Yeah.
But I think Quizzy is like, because he's in charge, he's like a manager. He can be like, okay, you guys go take care of this. I'm gonna go do other things.
The third one, it is fifth brother. He was not Slay in Rebels, and he is less Slay now. Yeah, so he's got to go. He is being decapitated. That's not even a choice at this point. I'm sorry, fifth brother. It's just the way it's got to be. Even if you have the spinny lightsabers, I like them very much, but it's a no for me. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so I also decapitate fifth brother. Like, no brainer. Goodbye, bro. I didn't like you in Rebels. I don't like you now. But here is where things differ.
I knew this was gonna happen, Jess. I knew it in my heart.
It's not that I like Quizzy, okay? But I can acknowledge when someone's a little bit handsome, and then I get to take over the Grand Inquisitor position. Sorry to Riva and to fifth brother, who are like, I want to be the Grand Inquisitor, like the next one. And they're like, no, I'm gonna be the Grand Inquisitor. No, I'm gonna be the Grand Inquisitor. When Quizzy, my husband, because I Naboo honeymoon him, mysteriously has passed away? Not clickbait? Oh my god. Emperor Palpatine Vader, you're telling me that my dear Grand Inquisitor has passed away? That's so weird.
Oh my god.
But
Jess, you're so
then,
predictable with this.
as Kels, our good friend, friend of the pod, discount Sansa Stark, the freaking Inquisitor. But yeah,
Did you just
gonna get.
Did you say
We're gonna,
Inquisition?
yeah.
This is the first day of Pride. We cannot start it out like this. We can't.
But yeah, I'm Naboo honeymoon Grand Inquisitor, and then I kriff Reva, not because I don't like her, because we stan Reva, we love women's wrongs, but I don't know, she does also intimidate me. Not that Quizzy doesn't intimidate me either, but I also feel like she's like, she's got a lot to work on with herself. She's not ready to like settle down or have a relationship. And I'm just like, I understand, girl boss. Girl boss pussy queen.
Gunshot girl boss pussy queen.
Yeah.
My thing I think too about Reva is like, I feel like I would be very like, you'd be very intimidated at first. Like, I think you'd grow to get used to it. But Quizzy, like, I'm not intimidated by him. I would just smack him on his bald head and it'd be fine. I would like to now bring us to our favorite segment, which is Name That Ship. Name That Ship is when one of the hosts will find a fan fiction, or in this case be sent a fan fiction, and then we will read off the tags or any relevant information to try to get our co-hosts to guess who the main ship is. I actually have 2 this week, which I realize is unconventional, but they're short.
Ooh.
And they're by the same author. So that's one of the reasons that I want to bring both. So the first one comes to me. It was actually sent by a listener, L Bell. That's letter L Belle. And the note that they sent was, I gasped when I saw this. So let me go ahead and get into it. So there's only 2 tags. It is rated general audiences. It is character A/character B, character A, character B, post Order 66, pre-relationship. And that's it. Those are the only 2 tags, or the only tags. I can read the summary. Let me see. I can read the summary, but it gives it away, kind of, but not really. I think this is a short one. Character A has been on the hunt for character C, who's not in this fic, ever since he slipped through her fingers the first time. When she follows his trail, however, she comes across someone she didn't expect.
So these are characters who were, if this is post Order 66, were these characters in the prequels?
In the era. One of them was in the era.
Clone
One
Wars?
is from Clone Wars, yes.
And the other one is like, is the other one an Inquisitor? Or...
No, the other one is not an Inquisitor, no.
Okay, so...
Are any of these characters in or mentioned in the Kenobi series right
now? No.
So, is one a Jedi?
Yes.
So they're Force sensitive, but maybe not exactly a Jedi. Is one Ahsoka?
Yeah, I would say yes. Yeah, one is Ahsoka. Character A is Ahsoka.
Wait, is this a gay ship or?
It is, yes. It's 2 women.
Okay. Is it Kaden?
I wish. We need more Kaden. We need more Kaden Soka.
So, I'm sorry. So the premise is
Ahsoka is looking for someone else, and instead she runs into this character.
Okay, so is the other character Force sensitive?
I don't think so, no.
Is the other character a bounty hunter?
No, I wouldn't say so. But she knows bounty hunters.
Is the other character...
Is it Dr. Afra?
No.
The other character is not a Clone Wars character. Are they a Rebels character?
No.
They're books or comics character?
She appears in books and comics, but she's not from them.
So she's from the movies.
She is, correct.
Is it Pat? It's not Pat Bay.
Mm-mm.
It's a teen.
Mm-mm. No, she's not from a show either.
So she's
from a movie.
She's in the movies. Is she like a significant character?
Yeah, she's probably one of the leads in the movie she's in.
Leia?
No.
Mon Mothma?
No. It's not a part of the Skywalker saga.
Kira?
It's Kira Soka.
Oh my god.
Okay, and this is also so slay. She is looking for Maul. And and then is like, okay, you are not who I was expecting to find. And she's like, do you want to look for Maul together?
Oh my god.
It's kind of slay.
That's kind of slay.
That's pretty yes and slay.
No, it's very slay. And I will say, as is this other one that I'm bringing, and this is, again, I think a pretty short one. This is very, again, same author. Character A / character B. Character A, character B. Past character A, character C, which will give it away. Bittersweet, open-ended. I can't read the summary. It gives away at least one of the characters.
Are these characters in the live action like movies or shows or
Yes, they are.
like prequels era?
Yes. Both are in the prequels.
Have they been the Clone Wars or
Both have been in the Clone Wars.
Are any of them force sensitive?
Yes.
Are they both force sensitive?
One of them is. Character B is.
is this a gay ship?
Yes, it is.
They 2 men or
Is-
2 women?
2 women.
Is one of them Ahsoka?
No.
Are they Glupshidos or are they more main characters?
No, they're... One of them, I think, is... One of them is for sure a main character. The other one is, like... I wouldn't necessarily say Glupshido. I would say Glupshido in the same way that Quinlan Voss could be considered a Glupshido. But I would say she is probably more well-known than he is.
Barriss Offee?
No.
Luminara and Ndu?
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. She actually does have a connection to Quinlan Voss.
Ventress?
Ventress?
No.
Ayla?
Ayla
It's Ayla Secura is character B.
And with another woman.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Depa Billaba?
So,
No. This
Because
character
because they're
is...
not force sensitive, right?
Mhm, correct.
Are they a bounty hunter?
Nope.
Padme?
Padme, yeah. It's Padme Ayla.
Up!
Who's character C then?
Anakin.
Oh, okay.
It's past Padme and Anakin. I'm gonna read the synopsis.
That's so funny.
There is a threat to Padme's life. This is not new. She is given a Jedi protector. This is not new either. What is new is Ayla Secura, the beautiful lilt of her voice, and the way she drives Padme to distraction. Surely it will all be better this time around. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this.
slay.
I'm so serious. This.
Slay!
No, I am
Yes,
obsessed
these are
with
bangers.
this. You are this author. I'm obsessed with you.
This author said women in Star Wars, am I right?
Yeah, this was written by Sydney Horses at on AO3. So I'm standing you. That is amazing. Thank you for this. Thank you so much for joining us this week for RuPalp's Podrace. Episodes usually drop on Sundays, and while Kenobi is airing, we are back to weekly episodes. But for updates, Star Wars news, and more cursed shit, follow us on social media. We're at RuPalp's Podrace on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Do you want to ask us questions? Send us your questions. Our TikTok Q&As are open, or you can email us at rupalpspodrace@gmail.com. And if you really love our show, please take a moment to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or Overcast. It really helps us out and we appreciate it. And lastly, as per usual, may the Force be with you, and don't kriff it up.
Waka waka.
Pride Edition.